Well, gracious greetings, St. Stephen family and guests. Welcome to another edition of Living Water for a Thirsty Thursday. We've been talking about belief and faith and just having that trust in God that we need. And we talked about believing in God versus believing God. And today I was just thinking about vision and sight. You know, as I was driving, I was just, noticing that I'm looking out through the windshield and I'm looking left and right and looking all around to see what's going on. And then I glance over at my left side view mirror to see what traffic is doing behind me or who's coming up next to me, or blind spots, as we say. And I look in the right mirror and find out there are blind spots and looking to see who's coming up on the right side. Of course, we have the rear view mirror that we're looking in to see what's going on behind us. And then, constantly sweeping our eyes through these different areas, looking out the left window, the right window as well. Vision is so important. Seeing is so important. And, it just kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. And something as simple as driving. Yet in John 20 and 29, I know you know the passage. A lot of you have read and studied about Thomas, who's known as Doubting Thomas, because he just had a hard time wrapping his mind around Jesus Christ coming back to life, being resurrected from the dead. And he said, I actually want to put my fingers in his wrist, in his hands, to know that he has come back to life yet again. But in John 20 and 29, Jesus flat out says to him, he says, man, you have believed because you have seen me. But Jesus says something more specific that I think is important to all of us. He said, more blessed are those that have not seen me, yet they believe. There's a lot to be said about what Jesus expressed in that one verse. Literally, he said, you are believing today because you have seen me, Thomas. But before you seen me, you weren't really believing. In essence, you believed in me, but you didn't believe me. But then he goes on further and says clearly, more blessed are those that have not seen me, that will actually believe in me. That's speaking about us, more or less, those that are living today that have not been able to say we were eyewitnesses of Christ while he walked on this earth for 33 years. We weren't eyewitnesses to his crucifixion, and we weren't eyewitnesses to his resurrection. We weren't eyewitnesses to his ascension. We weren't eyewitnesses to his life here on earth. None of those things were we able to look in our rear view mirror and see, our side view mirror, look out of our windshield. None of those things have happened. And so Jesus said, more blessed are those that have not seen me, yet they do still believe. Couple that with, we know faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. And you put all of that together and you're saying something. So really, it's sight is important, but sight isn't everything. We have to believe in what we don't see. But I think when Jesus says that last portion, more blessed are those that have not seen, yet believe, is what's key. And I think what gets us sometimes is not that we don't believe in God. We do believe in God. I think what happens is through experience, right? Through our time in our faith, through some prayers that have gone up to the Lord, some requests, some petitions that have been made that weren't answered exactly how we wanted them to be answered. I think over time, it brought us to this place where we learned that, yes, God hears our prayers. Yes, God answers our prayers, but God doesn't always answer our prayers the way we want them to be answered, nor when we want them to be answered. And I think that portion in us, because of the results, because we become more result oriented, that is why the doubt comes in. That is why the disbelief creeps in, because we doubt or have disbelief in whether or not God is actually going to do it the way we want it done, when we want it done, and how we want it done. I think that is the true battle that we are having. With that being said, is it really about results, or should it really be about relationship? That is what will help with our faith. That is what will help with our belief. That is what will help us to indeed trust God. And I pray that we would indeed embrace what Jesus is saying here, because he doesn't ever waste words. When Jesus said we're more blessed because of what we can't see with our eyes. And in essence, if you dig into that a little bit further, it's not what an ocular part that he's trying to bring forth. This is not about optics or ocular ability. This is all about belief and trust in God. And so when he says more blessed, more favorable, more beneficial, is it to those that have not seen me do what I do in the flesh and yet still believe. Now, that yet still believe means whatever God does, I'm good with it. I believe it was him and his plan was the best plan. That is where the true faith comes in. Do you believe what God allows to happen in your journey, right, wrong, and different, smell good, smell bad, look good, look bad, is exactly what God has for you and is what's best? I think that is the challenge. Sometimes we still think we know best. We still think we have what's best and we have a better plan. That, in essence, is where the tension comes from. So, last week we talked about, Lord, help thou my unbelief. I think it's also, Lord, help me to just trust you and know that your way is better than my way. Yeah, so prayerfully this kind of shines a little bit more light on just how special faith and belief and trust is. It's not about what I can see out of this windshield. It's not even about what I've seen in the past. It's all about me trusting in God and knowing his way, no matter what it is always the best way. And when I get there, that is faith. It is the substance of things hoped for. Hope for means expected, the evidence or the product of things that are not seen. And so my hope becomes the product. That's what I can hold on to, even though I don't see it. I can't see hope, but I have it. I have it because I know God is able. Well, we're going to continue this journey next week. Looking forward to it. Talking about belief and trust in God. Continue to make God proud in all you say